Hey everybody, and welcome back to Misfit Corner Scams. This is the Arts Knows Andrew speaking. It is Saturday night, and I am live streaming. Just making sure the audio is coming through and it looks good. Welcome, everybody. I have sent some invites out to some people. We'll see who's able to join, but Glenn has already said he's singing tonight, singing for his supper, so he's not going to be able to join. But we'll see if Roger or Avery or anybody else can join. But let's check in, see who's here. Tim, of course, is in the house. Tim says, good evening all from Western Kentucky. Welcome, my friend. Hold on just a second. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit more. It's just a little too loud in my ears, but that's okay. Welcome, Tim. Welcome. It's a Costanza's in the house. Says, for Easter, I'll put prank candy in the scammers' Easter baskets. I'm not sure they celebrate Easter. It's a Costanza. I don't, probably not. But if they do, I wholeheartedly agree. BB's here, says, hey, Tim from Xenia. BB says, hi to It's a Costanza. BB says, I meant to say hi from me in Xenia, Ohio. Laugh out loud. Glenn chimed in, says, can't make it singing in the choir tonight. Have fun. I put the whole part about singing for his supper in there. That's not what he said, but you get what I meant. Tim says, attending adult prom fundraiser for my late granddaughter last Saturday night. Oh boy, okay. BB says, aw, we'll miss you, Glenn. And then I chimed in and said, no worries, Glenn, have fun. It's a Costanza says, Glenn is singing a farewell song for the scammers. Hey, if we wanted him to, he could probably come up with a good farewell song. He'd come up with a good song. He did the Christmas scammer song, which was great. Christine is here and says, Tim, I first read that as adult porn fundraiser. That could be an interesting meeting. Christina says, does the chorus know about Betty? Oh, I'm sure they do. I've had conversations with Glenn, and he slipped into Betty from time to time, so I'm sure he does it often. Tattle says, like and subscribe. Oh, yes, please do. Thank you so much, Tattle. Appreciate the heads up. BB smiles. Tim says, my other granddaughter was raising money for a nursing scholarship at USI in Evansville. They raised around $8,000 this year. Fantastic. Very nice. BB says, already subscribed, but I did hit the like button. Very good. Appreciate it. B. Bernie B's in the house, says, hi, Drew in chat. Welcome. Darlene's here, says, hello to everybody. Manuel, of course, my good friend, is here, says, good evening, my friend Drew. Larry the mechanic says, loud and clear. Loud, question mark. Oh, boy. Seamus is here, says, happy Saturday. Welcome. Jim's here, says, evening all, happy Saturday. Manuel says, hey, my friend Larry the mechanic, I just watched your video. Very good. Terrence is here. Hey, Terrence says, what's up, my man? Welcome to the show. Larry says, good evening, Manuel. I hope everything is well with you. Seamus says, West Texas here. Excellent. Manuel says, hey, Jim, good evening. Happy Saturday. JNLW says, hello, all. Florida represent. Florida strong. Thank you. Jim says, hey to Manuel. Let's see. Charles is here, says, hey, Drew and friends. Welcome. BB says, laugh out loud. Yeah, I really doubt they do recognize Easter. Probably not. Tattle says, have you ever asked a scammer, why are you lying, and had the scammer admit to it? It's funny you would ask that question. I actually got one call today. That was actually a really good one. It was one of the ones where they call claiming that they're going to help you get compensation money. It was one of those class action lawsuits. And I went into him about being a liar. And he didn't admit it, but he did laugh. He did think it was funny that I was calling him out. And it went on for about 5 or 6 minutes, just me talking back and forth to him and telling him he needs to get a better job and, do something else with his life, get honest work. And I got him to admit that he was from India, but I don't know if that was true or not. But yeah, it was a good call. The funny part was, I think at some point they realized he was on the call and nothing was getting done. because a supervisor came over and he said, "Oh, hold on a second, let you talk to my supervisor." And I just started screwing with the supervisor, and he immediately hung up. The supervisor wasn't having it, but yeah, I did ask him why he was lying to me about who he was and what he was calling about, and he just kind of giggled and laughed it off. And like, dude, it's not funny. You're evil, ugly person, and you should find a better job. So I'll be making that into a video, and most likely that'll be, if I don't get anything else good between now and then, that'll probably be Monday's video. So, all right. Manuel says, good evening, Nasimas. Christina says, sorry for your loss, Tim. Oh, Avery's here. Let me bring him in real quick. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm just saying hi to everybody. And then I wanted to show you something.
Hello.
Something that got traded into me today that I've never seen before, and I thought you might actually get a kick out of.
Okay.
Let me just jump around a little bit here, see who else is here. Karen's in the house. Karen says, good evening from the UK. Welcome, Karen. Larry says, I've had a couple admit that they were scamming, and they usually tell you that there's nothing else they can do to make money for their families. I've heard that as well, but, you know, it's kind of despicable. Star Chaser's in the house, says, hello all. Welcome, welcome. Mr. T's Gold 2 Chain says, hello, each and every one. Welcome, welcome. Tarkorf is in the house, says, new scams in 2025. Thigh Joe on YouTube. Theo Joe, I think that's Theo Joe on YouTube. Okay. Let's see who else is here. I'm jumping around. Armando's here, says, hey, so Buddy Sean had 2 new aliases for the scammers that he used now. Pussy Willow, old lady, and Rook Hardon, an old man. You should have heard the slurs they said to him. It got ugly. Oh, I bet it did. It's one of the reasons why I don't try to use creative fake names, because I'm not good at it. I come up my fake names like Timothy and Eugene and Carl, and that's about as creative as I can get. So, all right, let's see who else is here. Jumping around just a little bit. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else. Everett's in the house, says, good evening, Misfit Corner Scams. Well, hello. Welcome to the show. Let's see if there's anybody else that I need to check in with. Charles says, has your other girlfriend called you back? No, she has not. We kind of left it with, if I need her or I want to make some money, I should call her. But I don't think she's going to call me back. Which is okay, because honestly, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. The relationship that we had, it kind of felt one-sided. You know, the desire, the love, the wanting was all one-sided. But maybe one day we'll give it a chance, you know? All right, Avery, I just wanted to show this to you real quick. Guys, I know this is off topic, but one of the comics that got traded into me today, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. It's called the Comics Artist Showcase from Showcase Productions. Now, when I'm looking at this, have you never heard? Okay.
Never seen it before.
Well, I flipped through it. It's a bunch of people. It's like portfolio pieces from different people.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. Each page has the person's name, address, sometimes their age, and their telephone number. This book was like you pay $80 a page, they will publish it, and they will distribute it to comic book companies and comic book stores. And, I mean, there's some really horrible art in here. But then again, there's actually some kind of decent art in here. But the whole thing is like a portfolio book. And there's this one guy in here, Sean Pearson. I don't know. I don't recognize this guy's art. But this guy looks like he would be a professional.
Yeah.
Had we known of something like this back in the day, I damn sure would have submitted to it. I know Todd would have. This is something Todd would have gone for completely.
Who knows if anybody ever took that thing seriously, though, who was at the companies?
Who knows? But guess when this was published? 1986.
Probably wasn't around.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
by our high school years.
Here's a funny one. This guy just, copied a page from Spider-Man,
Oh
but he
wow.
paid he paid the $80 to get it published. So, you know, maybe somebody hired him off of that. But yeah, it had a whole intro on what it's about, how to do it, and then rates on how many you can get up to 4 pages, and you could submit it, and they would pick the best to be on the cover, front and back, and they would publish this once a month and send it to different comic book publishers. And they said it had a circulation of 3,500. So
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have paid that for that. That's not worth it.
I don't know. Back in 1986, prior to going to conventions and stuff like that, because we didn't do that until the early 90s.
We weren't, dude. We weren't doing art in the 80s.
Yeah, but had it been around when we were starting,
I doubt it was.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
I just thought it was interesting as hell. None of the
It's interesting, but it's totally not worth it. That low of a circulation for that amount of money, not worth it. No one's going to hire you off of one pin up.
Yeah,
it's.
They could reach out to, especially a small press company could see somebody's art and say, "Ooh, this person's."
Oh yeah, small. Yeah, and pretty stupid. They paid $80 for this. I can probably get them to do a book for free.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, that happens more often than people want to admit, but it happens all the time.
It happens to everybody. Everybody gets ripped off by somebody. Publishers do it all the time.
All the time. But I just saw that and I was like, I'd never seen that book before. It doesn't have any value. Doesn't have any value.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely something I should show Todd, see what he thinks.
Oh yeah.
But all right, well, so by the way, how's it going, man? Since I talked to you last, as in yesterday.
Yeah, it's fine.
How you feeling? Any better?
Weather's yo-yoing.
Yeah, it is. It was nice and cool all day long, and I was stuck in my store all day long.
But that messes me up when it goes back and forth between warm and cold.
Ain't that the truth?
That tears me up, dude. My sinuses are a wreck.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to jump into the chat, see what else is going on here. Christina says, got a call from Michael who forgot to spoof the number, and it gave his true number from Bangkok, Thailand. Really? Wow. Actually, Glenn shared with me, he got a call from a scammer, and from time to time, he will return the calls. He will call the number back just to see who they're spoofing. And they spoofed the local FBI office, because when he called the number back, he got one of the representatives there and said, "Hey, I'm just returning a call. This number called me," and they identified themselves as the FBI, the local whatever town he was calling from, and he told them what had happened, and they told him they do it all the time. They spoof those numbers all the time, which shocked the crap out of me. Because I rarely ever return numbers to calls, just simply because I know they're spoofing and that's not the number they're calling from. But the fact that they didn't spoof in Christina's case is hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm sure it happens more often than we think, but oh well. BB says, if anyone has or is wondering, I go by BB because all my names, first, middle, and last names, start with B. Really? Okay. Well, that's funny in the fact that my sister-in-law, her name's Kate, and the kids always called her KK. That's her nickname for the children, KK. So one time when I was filling out, my wife had me go get her a birthday card for her birthday, and I wrote out her name, but with a K. And she looked at it and said, "My name doesn't start with a K." And then I said, "Why the hell is your nickname KK then?" Because I just had always assumed that her name Kate started with a K. And she's like, "No, Drew, it's a C. It's always been a C." I had no idea. Shows you how much I pay attention to my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
But then again, pay attention to anything, right? Mhm.
Except
Uh,
what you have to say next.
that's right. That's right. BB says, I saw Kit Boga using some cute names for his AI characters. Chandelier was one of them. Okay. Star Chaser says, an unknown number called me, sneezed and coughed a few times, and then hung up. I'm getting tired of all these cold calls.
Wah, wah, wah. That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. Good job, Star Chaser. Very good. Amanda says, oh, one more thing. Sean has been scam baiting for scammers on Facebook. He got a lot of the dating scammers to give up their identity, and just about all of them were men from Afghanistan or Pakistan. I 100% believe that. I have not been involved in any romance scams. I know they're out there. Matter of fact, one of our old buddies, Kodiak, was telling me about that because he'd been on some dating apps at some point recently and was amazed at the number of fake people trying to reach out and contact people through dating apps. Now, I don't know which one. He didn't say which one he used, but it was obvious the person was a scammer because he
Wow.
would like ask a question and they'd say, "Oh, you're so silly," and then they would never answer the question. And they were really general questions. He's like, this is not real." But yeah, it's very, very prevalent out there. If you guys are out there, if anybody you know is on a dating app, please tell them to be careful. Be damn careful. Speaking of which, I got to tell a story, and I'm not telling this story to embarrass my mother-in-law. I'm telling this story as a learning lesson for everybody out there. My mother-in-law, we were talking in the living room, and she mentioned something, and I said, well, let me see your phone, because she was asking something about, it was either a message that she got or an email that she got. She's getting very good at when she gets an email that says your bill's late or whatever, she's looking at the address of the person sending her the email. So like when she sees, Norton, or she sees Xfinity, or she sees T-Mobile, or whatever it is, she's not just assuming that it's really from the company. She actually looks at the email address first. And if it's some long ass email address, and especially when it ends in Gmail or something like a free email account, she knows it's fake. She knows this is not something that she needs to pay or do anything with. But there's been a time where she's not so quick to check up on that stuff. So needless to say, she's handing me the phone. We're talking about something that she got a message on. And I noticed that one of the messages she got was from her stepmother. And it's a Facebook message, and her stepmother's name doesn't have a picture. There's no picture there. And I'm thinking to myself, I know this person. I am friends with her on Facebook, and she has a picture. She's always had a picture. So what kind of conversation is my mother-in-law having with this person? And I go and I look, Avery.
Yes.
I'm going to read out loud the message she received. And what's so funny is I'm reading them out loud to her when I'm asking her about it. And I read a line and I say, does this sound like your stepmother? And she goes, well, now that I hear you say it out loud, I know it's not. And I said, I know. It gets worse. Okay? But
boy.
It starts, and here's the good thing. She did not reveal any financial or personal information that could be used. And none. She just chatted with her. And it was obvious that the person that she was chatting with was not her stepmother, but she didn't catch on till much, much later. And I reached out to the person. I said, hey, just so you know, my mother-in-law had a conversation with somebody she thought was you. You may want to make sure you change your password. And what's so sad is there were at least 7 people. I went to the person's profile and saw that it was literally a new profile, but it had at least 7 friends already on it, including my mother-in-law's sister and a couple other family members. Like, you people, I don't believe you fell for this. There's no posts, no nothing, just a conversation. But the oh my gosh, the conversation. Here's how it starts, and this is how easy this is. This is how easy it is to convince somebody you're who you say you are. Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well and enjoying life. Just checking in. Are you keeping safe and staying healthy? Who starts a conversation with somebody like that?
No.
Nobody does. That should have been the first sign that there was an issue. There was a problem. But my mother-in-law read that and says, "Oh, I'm doing fine. I'm just watching TV. My legs feel a little better. I keep challenging my walker, and I have a bruise. Apparently, when I fall, I make quite a racket. And last time David and I played golf," this is her husband who's been gone for over 4 years, "my swing threw me off balance, and I rolled down the hill into the lake. I retrieved my ball and had to listen to the most boring lecture." I'm trying to go to the next screen. "The most boring lecture on hypothermia. I could screw up anything. I had to listen to the most boring safety lectures. I miss those safety briefs, which were triggered by my bad choices. One would expect me to think all my good ideas all the way through." That's how she responded to, "How are you doing? I hope you're doing well."
Oh man.
Okay, so the person responded back, "I'm not doing so well. I went to doctor and tested positive for strep. Ugh. Other than that, I am doing pretty good. I was just wondering if you received any notification about that HHS program yet." That's the next sign. First, bad grammar, and then asking about. And when I read this out to her, she said, "That really doesn't sound like her." I said, "No, it doesn't. It does not." She responds, "Not that I know of. Andrew checks the mail. I like Hall's throat lozenges. Feel better." My mother-in-law sounds like a robot sometimes, but that's what was going through her head, you know? And then the person responded again. "It's all about Health Human Service Program. They're helping people financially, most especially in paying bills. They're helping the youth, workers, widows, retired people, and also the disabled in the society." I'm laughing with her at this point because she's like, there's no way that's her stepmother. There's no way this is her stepmother saying, but once again,
wow.
She responded. The person then said, "Hello, how are you doing?" And then she responded, "I have another round of AFib," because she was at the doctor's office and they detected some AFib. But it's like, she still hasn't realized that this is not her stepmother yet. You and I realized it with the very first post. She's gone on. This is days worth of going back and forth. And finally, this was the last message they sent. "Have you heard about them? I applied and got $150,000 for them. Also, it's tax-free, and I don't have to pay it back. No age or monthly income discrimination. Should I give you the agent's page so that you can also apply for the program, as I did?" At the first moment they mentioned an HHS program, you'd think something would have gone through her head and said, "Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right." But she actually responded and went in. And when I told her stepmom that she was having this conversation, my mother-in-law was like, "Oh God, please don't tell her about this." I says, No, I got to tell her about it because they're using her name. She needs to be aware of it. She needs to know that there's somebody out there pretending to be her, contacting people with this. And she goes, "Oh," and I said, "Why? What are you upset about?" She says, "She warned me the last time I did this not to fall for it." I'm like, apparently this has happened before.
Wow.
So in other words, the theme for tonight is please, please, please don't believe every single message you get, especially on Facebook.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Anybody can pretend to be anybody on Facebook Messenger.
the family member I told you about, right? That got wiped out.
Yep.
She got wiped out, sold her house. She's still falling for it, no matter what we tell her.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, she's been wiped out, had to sell her house, got that money. Now she's still falling for it.
Wow.
This guy,
that has more to do with mental illness and no support system, no, anybody that can set her straight.
Yeah. She's a malignant narcissist in mental decline.
Yeah,
so she won't listen.
That is a wonderful target for them. That is exactly who they're trying to find. Anybody everybody out there knows they target the elderly. You get somebody elderly who maybe has onset dementia or some type of memory issues or cognitive issues where you can lie to them and they don't realize it. That is their target. That is the person they're going after. That is the person they want. They want the elderly people in decline, and they want to take every single penny they have, and they have no qualms of doing it.
It just doesn't matter what lie he tells, she believes it. And we've tried multiple times.
And this has been going on for a long, long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's probably gotten well over 6 figures from her.
Insane.
And she won't listen. And there's nothing we can do about it. Her son has to, and he won't step in.
Yeah. Well, Avery, I feel really bad. I'm really sorry for that.
You know what, though? She's been a liar and a manipulator her whole life, so.
Yeah.
She's a bit. So she can't believe she's the one getting duped.
Yeah. Well, this is another lesson for everybody out there. If you have elderly family members in your family, in your close-knit connection, talk to them, reach out to them, make them aware of all these scams that are happening. Point them to YouTube. Let them watch some scam baiting videos. Let them see what's going on. But the bottom line is, if you know somebody out there, talk to them. Almost every time I talk to my mother, I mention scam calls, and I mention, some of the things I've heard and know about. Her favorite thing to do to tell them when they call her is she'll tell them, call my son. Call my son. He'll talk to you.
Yeah. Perfect.
Now, my dad has fallen for scams. My mother-in-law has fallen for scams. Check. I've fallen for scams. I've been taken by them before in the past too. It happens to everybody. I don't know if I told you guys the one that I fell for recently. It was last year. The government created a new law where every business owner had to fill out some type of business ownership form. And the big thing about it was if you didn't do it by the end of the year, you were going to get fined. And the fines were huge. From what I understand, the law everything's been put on hold because so many small businesses weren't doing it and they had no way of managing how to fine everybody. But my accountant advised me when I did my taxes last year, hey, go online, go to this website, fill out this form and submit it. All it is it's a way for the government. They're trying to identify who owns a business. They're trying to root out, shell companies. And I don't know how it's going to help, but they told everybody, all small businesses had to do this. Well, I got an email, a very legitimate looking email about completing this form. And I looked at it and goes, I know I did it. Did I do it or did I not finish it? So I kind of panicked a little bit and I clicked the link and it had some of my information already in it, the business name, all that stuff. And it dawned on me later, it was all free information about my business that anybody could have looked up. Was what was already filled out on the form. So I had to fill out other lines. And I filled out, full name, address, business address, so forth. And it even asked for a copy of my driver's license, and I uploaded a photocopy of my driver's license.
Oh my God, Andrew.
Once again, this is stuff that's not it's not hidden, it's not secret, it's out there. But then I hit the submit button, and it brought me to a page where it wanted $499. This is a free thing. It's a 100% free thing. It doesn't cost anything for a business to go in and register and file out this form. This was a company pretending to help people complete the form for their small businesses, because it is a requirement. It was a requirement by law, and that they wanted to charge $500 to do it, which you can do yourself for free. And as soon as that popped up, I'm like, damn it, they got me. They got me. And it dawned on me, all the information that had auto-populated in the form was all readily available information. And I'm like, damn, I fell for it. I fell for it. Gave them a copy of my driver's license and everything. Damn.
Dang it, Andrew.
Yeah, I know. And the sad part is I had already completed the form months before. I just couldn't remember. Did I submit it? Did I actually do it? And nope, they got me. They got me. So, in other words, guys, anybody out there can get scammed. If you have elderly people in your life, hell, there's even younger people that get targeted for this crap. Make them aware. Make them aware that when people they send you a text, they send you an email, they send you something on your phone, they call you, they reach out to you, they send you a letter, and they're asking for information. There's a really good chance they're full of crap, and they're just trying to get information on people. They're trying to get as much personal information as possible. Just be aware, and make your family know. Make them aware of the fact, too, because it's scary how much they can get and how easily they can get this information, and how many times people just hand it right on over. Oh, well. All right, let me jump back into the chat real quick.
Okay.
Let's find something nice and uplifting to talk about. All right, let's see here. Amanda says, one more thing. Sean has been scam baiting. Oh, wait, I already read that one. Okay, this was the one about Facebook. We got lost on a tangent with that one. And she says, they said they do it because their country is super poor and they have no jobs. There's a part of me that thinks if you're in a country where the only job available is scamming people, stealing from people, number one, that sounds to me like complete and utter anarchy, where people are just killing each other, stealing from each other, and they have no, morality whatsoever. Do they not have a military? Can somebody join the military? And I don't know. I don't know if that's an answer or not, but how many times have we been told about, people that break the law, and the only way that they can, get on the better side of society is to join the military and actually serve their country and do something positive? Do they not have militaries or in these other countries? Is that not an option? Maybe it's not. But it was always, son, you're either going to jail or you're going to boot camp, type of thing. I don't know. I always imagined, never had to do it, but I always imagined the military was like, this is your last resort. This is a way to have a job, to make money, to live, to survive, and to do something good in your life. Join the military. No,
it's a great choice for some people. It's the first choice for some people.
Oh yeah,
and a perfect choice for some people. Some people it's an excellent option for their entire career.
Yeah. But do they not have that as even an option there? I mean, what? India has a military. Do they not? Yes. Pakistan has a military.
It's very different.
Yeah,
it's very different.
Well, I thank God almost every day that my wife said yes to me, because one of my best friends at the time that Jennifer, when she became pregnant and we were working things out, he joined the Army Reserves. And had Jennifer not said yes, I'll marry you, I'll have you. I probably would have followed behind his, because I didn't have any other goals, or I was a head full of mush at that time, and would have followed right behind him and probably joined the military. Something that neither my parents nor Jennifer wanted for me, but sometimes you just go with the peer pressure. It was going to be peer pressure. So thank God she saved my life, dude. The
The
world.
reserves, the reserves wouldn't have been that bad. It would have been one like 4-year stint. And it's fine.
Yeah, but if I didn't have anything after that, I might have signed up full time and gone, career like my dad
That's not
did.
that's not a bad life either.
No, it's not. But I kind of like the one I got. I really like my
Fine.
kids. I like my
Fine.
wife too. So yeah. But oh well. All right, back to the chat. Brian says, Drew, I've been scam betting for over 2 years. Got burned out of the same old scripts from the scumbags. Guys, keep up the good work. Every now and then you got to change things up. And I try to do that as often as possible. I spend an entire day asking scammers. If it was a guy, I was asking them if they were responding to my ad to get a new wheat dealer and see how they would react. And if they were ladies, I asked them if they were responding to my ad for a sexy nanny, just to see how they would react. I mean, I change it up all the time. And I did get one, and I don't think I made it into a video. I do have a recording in which the lady was like, oh, no, I already have a job, but thank you, though. I said, well, hey, if you ever change your mind, let me know, okay? And the conversation was kind of surreal, but yeah, you got to change it up every now and then. You got to have some fun with it. Or you can do like I do sometimes and just blow up at them. Just get so mad and angry and just yell and scream and holler. And those normally don't get made into videos. But Avery, I every time I put out a video in which I go off on somebody and I have to bleep it all out, I'll get 1 or 2 comments with, oh, I've never heard you react that way before. I've never heard you say. I do it all the time. I just don't make them into videos. Sometimes there's a level of I have a great amount of patience. I have learned patience through my wife and my children and my dog. I learned a lot about patience, but sometimes you can get pushed to a breaking point and you can snap. And It has happened. It has happened. I just don't necessarily make that into a video. But all right, I'm going to try to catch up a little bit further here.
Okay.
Sarah says, BB, my sister went to college with someone named Crystal Chandelier and polyester cotton. That's funny. Jamie's here. Hey, Jamie says, hello, Misfit. I know you know me. I do the scammer like you do, but not on YouTube. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, very good. Very good. Manuel says, hey to Brian and hey to Jamie. BB says, laugh out loud to Sarah. Wow, I bet they got teased a lot. I bet you they did. Jamie says, hi to Manuel. Teresa's here. Teresa says, Go Comics is the largest comic website in the world. Been doing it close to 20 years. Okay, I don't think I've ever heard of Go Comics. May have to check that out, but thank you. Sarah says, I'm sure. Seema says to Sarah, no way, that's hilarious. Sarah says, yep. Teresa says, Kit Boga has done several publisher scams. Okay. Manuel says, hi to Teresa. Jamie says, I give the scammers my expired credit card. They all come back and delete it, pissed, and scammers off. Roger from Screwing with Scammers gave me a link to a credit card generator that'll generate real credit card numbers, even though there's nothing available on them. They don't work, but they do come up as a valid card. I've never used it, but I have it in the back pocket if I ever need to. When it comes to giving them credit card numbers, I just make up fake numbers. One of these days I'll hit a number that actually works, but generally I just make up 16 digits and we'll see what happens, Catherine says, I'm late again. No, Catherine, you're okay. Actually, that was, that was 26 minutes ago. So I'm really, really late. But welcome, Catherine, if you're still there. Manuel says, hey to Catherine. Amanda says, hopefully you see this But Sean was talking to a Facebook scammer, and the guy said that he was going to give up doing dating scams and go work for a scam call center because the dating scams, I bet you, suck. Seema says, I've had 2 unspoofed numbers with the India code. Okay. Catherine says, Drew, there is now a Medicare refund scam now that wants your bank account. Really? I'll have to be on the lookout for that. Amanda says, wasn't making him enough money. The romance scams wasn't making him enough money. Well, I think the romance scams require a lot of dedication and a lot of time to do, where most general scam calls, usually it's, the whole idea of sending me a gift card or going and buying a gift card, that's a long-term scam. But give me your bank account number or give me your credit card number. That's one that hold on a second. There's somebody at the door. Hold on just a quick second. What? Come on in. Come on in. Sorry, guys. My favorite puppy was scratching at the door for some reason. Come here, buddy. Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come here. Roger's not here showing off all his dogs, so I got to show off one of mine. Say hi, Tyler. This is Tyler. This is my mother-in-law's dog. He's the prince of Chihuahua Nation. He's a good boy. I don't know why he's in my office. I don't know why he's at my door. Most likely that means my mother-in-law locked him out, and he's panicking because he can't find his people. So now he's got his people. But this is Tyler. Say hi to hi to everybody, Tyler. He's shell shocked. He's like,
okay, Taco Bell?
Yeah. Here, I'll put you down. I'll let you sit on the blanket. There you go. Sit on the blanket. You can stay with me. That's fine. Don't you dare pee in my shoes.
Oh, God.
No, he was crawling over my shoes and he stopped for a moment. Gave me that indication he was going to do something. Hey, do you need to go back out? Give me a second, guys. I could open the door again. Come on. Come on. Go out and see Jenny.
In or out? In or out, puppy? Pick one.
Sorry, guys. All right, where were we? Back to, I guess he just wanted to say hi. So every now and then, it's good to have cats. All right, let's jump around some more. Teresa says, I had an infected tooth and abscess that made my face swell to triple its size. Oral surgeon removed the bad boy, taking penicillin and pain meds. An abscess can go from bad to worse to sepsis, PDQ. Wow. That's not a good thing, man. That's not a good thing. Brian says, guys, I'll subscribe to your channel if you go to Target and buy me a gift card. Consider it done, Brian. Consider it done.
Why did you redeem?
Why'd you redeem? That's right. Kid Boga. All right, let's jump around, see who else is here.
That video went so huge, dude.
Oh, yeah, hold on a second. Darlene says, Roger didn't have his live video last night. Hope they are doing okay. Oh, yeah, he's doing fine. He texted me. There was something, I think it was with either his daughter or somebody. They had people visiting, and he wasn't going to be able. He was supposed to join tonight if he could, but I told him, not to worry about it. Both he and Glenn had some stuff. Hey, life happens, people. But yeah, I got a text message from him earlier. So yeah, everything's good. Screwing with scammers, they're all okay. Everybody's good. My sister does security at the stadium here in town. They cover the Jaguar games and they cover a lot of musical events and so forth. Well, she texted everybody in the family this evening. She had 5 free tickets to a Jacksonville Iceman hockey game for this evening. And I text her back and says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't go. I'm live streaming. And she says, you can live stream another time. And I'm like, no, I can't. My fans would be really pissed if I canceled a live stream last minute for a hockey game. So no, I couldn't skip out on you guys.
How dare you?
I know. Tattle says most of the romance scammers show up in catfished YouTube channels are from Nigeria. I've heard that. Same thing with like the PCH scammers are from Jamaica. I did have. You guys may have noticed it. I did get another follow up from a PCH scammer. This time wasn't Andrew Goldberg, but it was definitely the guy. Definitely had a Jamaican accent. But Avery, the call was really silly. At one point, he asked me about playing games, and I think he's like calling me out saying, are you wasting my time and playing games with me? But then he switched it up and said, I'm not playing games with you. This is a real thing. You really won this money. And I'm like, okay. So but then I decided to ask him, I said, do I have to play a game in order to win the money? So he kept going on, and I kept saying, okay, is this part of the game? I mean, because I really want to win this game. So I kept going on about it. He eventually hung up. Eventually gave up.
Oh,
it's all right. I try to keep them on as long as possible. So
yeah.
Teresa says, Drew, if you need a fake ID or fake driver's license, I make them for several pages. Yeah, I know. We've talked it before. I've never actually given out any driver's license information before. I mean, all the information I give is fake. And I don't think anybody has ever actually asked for a driver's license, like a driver's license number at all. I mean, it's good to have. It's good to have the fake information. But honestly, I've already got fake information that I use pretty regularly. So, but nope, I appreciate it. Let's see what else is going on here. Christina says, didn't Jim Henson die from sepsis? I don't know. I really don't.
Pneumonia, yeah.
Yeah.
The infection from the pneumonia.
Yeah, BB says, yeah, I didn't think it was anything you were looking forward to. Oh, boy. Yep, that's true. Nikki says, hey, Nikki. Nikki says, Darlene, I noticed that, too. I think Mr. SWS may be slightly under the weather. Miss SWS was pretty ill recently. She mentioned she was in the hospital. I noticed she hadn't been sitting with her hubby. Yep. Well, I know the reason why he didn't live stream last night is because they had some family that was visiting. So that was the reason why they didn't do it. But I have talked to him, so I know they're good. Darlene says a lot of scammers on Facebook. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I'm really not on Facebook. You know, but they are ugly people there. So Manuel says hello to Nikki. BB says, oh no, I'm so sorry to see that about SWS Roger and his wife. Teresa says scammer syntax is hilarious. That is true. Tim says, I get those in my messaging app on Facebook. A lot of people get them very regularly. Brian says, I'm a baby boomer. Do the slime balls think we just fell off the turnip truck? Yes, they do. You know what's so funny? And the funny thing was, my mother-in-law, it didn't dawn on her. She didn't realize it till I read the text messages out loud, how horribly bad the grammar was, to the point where she knew it wasn't the person it was claiming. But we're so used to reading texts that we see words and we know what the person is saying, even though we're not reading exactly the way they wrote it. There's a like a clinical explanation for that, where like we can see, like somebody did an experiment once where it was an entire paragraph where letters were reversed and people were able to read it just fine because we knew what they were trying to say, even though we weren't reading it the way they actually wrote it. I think it was like an experiment that they did where it was like an entire paragraph and they reversed letters like in every single word. And it's still completely, somebody understood it completely. You could read it and understand exactly what they were trying to say, even though every single word was wrong. When people get text messages, they read the words and they know what the person's trying to say. They don't realize the way they wrote it is wrong. And that's not the way the person talks or writes, but you're not looking at that. You're looking at the overall generalization of what they're saying. And that's another reason why people get taken by stuff like that. You know, you're not actually reading what the person wrote. You're interpreting what they're saying to you as the way you imagine them saying it to you. There's got to be like a technical, scientific explanation term for that, but we all do it. We all look at something and we know what's being said to us, even if what we're looking at is not correct. We know what they were saying. You know what I mean? I think this will make sense to a lot of people, but it's like how many times I've looked at something or said something and I've said, "You guys know what I'm talking about. I said it wrong, but you know what I was saying." It's very common with people. I think mainly in the English language. It may just be an English language thing where we can recognize what's being said in something we're reading, even if we're not reading it exactly the way it's written. You know what I mean? But yes, okay. Actually, that's something I should look into, because there's got to be a term or an explanation.
There is.
Yeah, I know that there's got to be. There's got to be, because it's very common. It's very common that people will see something, interpret it, and know what it says without actually reading what it is.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Maybe. Nikki says, I've been sick since March 22nd. Oh, goodness. Still coughing and sneezing. I think it's a head cold, a bad head cold. Now it's my chest. Never any body chills and temperature. However, everything else. If it gets worse or it keeps going, go see a doctor, Nikki. That's your best bet. Go see a doctor. There may be something out there that can knock that out and take care of it right away. You just got to get the right thing, you know? Highly recommend seeing a doctor if it lasts for too long. Seamus says, apparently enough people are falling for this BS. Otherwise, they would stop. Yeah, that's the sad part. People hear some of these scam calls that I've recorded, and their first reaction is, how the hell does somebody fall for that? There are people out there that get confused. They don't understand what's happening, and they do fall for stuff that to us seems ridiculous that anybody would believe it. But there's enough people out there that get confused and don't know what to do, and they will take instructions from a stranger because they don't know what's going on. That's who they're looking for. That's why they keep trying the scam, because there's people out there that I think gullible is too harsh of a term. There's people who are just scared. They don't know what to do when confronted with something like this. And it's pretty much, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Give you my credit card information. That'll solve the problem. Okay, here it is. There's people out there that get that way. It's not dumb. It's not gullible. It's fear. They don't know what to do. I hate to say it, but it's true. I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying. At least I hope. Teresa says these monsters prey on the most vulnerable. It's sickening. Absolutely 100% true. Let's see. BB says, I almost, or that is got involved with a romance scammer many years ago. He never got a penny from me. He wouldn't have at any rate, as I don't have any kind of money.
Oh, man.
I used to joke with my dad. There was a time when I was young and our credit was like completely destroyed. We screwed it up horribly. And I used to joke with my dad, it's like, if somebody wants to steal my identity, the only thing they can do is make my credit better. You know, they can only improve it, because there's no way they can make it worse.
It's called hypoglycemia.
Hypoglycemia, really? That's the term?
That's the term they want to use for it. It's a theory that as long as the first and last letter of the word is correct, you will infer context.
Yeah, but there's
it's not 100%, but that's what it's called.
That's actually a really cool word.
Our brain wants to make sense of what we look at. It's kind of like pareidolia, I think. You know, where you see faces and patterns.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. Our brain wants to make sense of it, so it does.
Humans are really weird creatures, aren't we?
Yeah.
How easily we can be duped into believing one thing over another when it's right there in front of us, you know? Mm-hmm. That says a lot about people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nikki says, Brian, that's funny, falling off the turnip truck. Yep. Teresa says, that's so sad. BB says, I don't remember how I found out he was a scammer, but I think it may have been one of my real friends on Facebook who tipped him off. Okay. Seamus says, I keep saying that wrong. Seamus says, Facebook and other social medias is mostly trash. That I can believe. I do have a TikTok account. I do have a X account. I do have a Facebook account, but I rarely ever check them out. I have an Instagram account. I rarely. Yeah, those are places that they're what I call a time suck, where you'll sit there scrolling through them, and the next thing you know, it's a half hour later, and you're like, what the hell happened to my day, you know?
Doom scrolling.
Doom scrolling, time suck. Yeah, it's all very similar, very similar. Teresa says they're looking for the weakest among the herd. That is absolutely true. That's part of the laws of the jungle, you know? BB says, I've heard a lot of young people get scammed with their get-rich-quick things like Bitcoin. I hate to say it. I was listening to a commentator that was talking about how there's a large growing population of young Americans who do not believe the American dream is possible. And they're always trying to find get-rich-quick ways. And they listed out different options. Playing the lottery, the stock market, cryptocurrency, and sports gambling is another one. These are all ways that people think that's the only way I'm going to get the American dream is by getting rich quickly. That a lot of people don't believe in hard work or long-term investments in themselves.
Yeah.
They don't believe in that anymore. They don't think that that's possible. Where Avery and I, that was what we were raised on when it came to our creative nature, is you continue doing it no matter what, and you keep working on it, and eventually, you know.
Yeah, like I like crypto, but it's a long-term thing.
It is a long-term thing.
If I was going to get rich in crypto, I should have bought $100 worth of Bitcoin when I first heard of it, and it was 20 cents each.
How many times have you said to me, we should have started our YouTube channels 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Could have been the next Mr. Beast, you know? Have millions and millions of...
Who knows? But the time for me, because my temperament is the best I could possibly do would be once a week.
Yeah.
And those days are over. They've changed the algorithm so much.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a daily thing. It is absolutely a daily thing. And I've done that. I've done the daily grind on YouTube for going on 2-3 years now, where I've done daily content. You just... And I hate to say it, but that's kind of what my subscribers and my viewers expect from me now is daily content. And I'm committed. I'm going to make sure I have. And Glenn helps me out. Roger helps me out. These guys are helping me achieve that goal of every day as a video. And now it's a video and a short and then live stream every week. I mean, if you think about it, that's not a huge commitment on my part. But it is my every day. It is a priority to have a video and a short ready for you guys. No matter whether I'm rehashing an old retro video, I'm making new videos, I'm working with Glenn or Roger to make something happen. You know, my goal, my commitment is daily entertainment. So, and if you get something out of it and you learn something from it and you can pass it on to somebody else, fan-frickin-tastic. But that's my commitment to you guys, is daily content. You know? And there's a lot of people out there not willing to do that. There's some channels that I've checked out where I'll look at like their Social Blade and they put up one video a week or something like that. It's like, okay, that's fine if your subscribers and the people watching your channel are okay with that. But that's my commitment's a little bit more. You know, I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying I'm a nicer guy because I do it, or I'm a better person for doing it. But that's my personal commitment to my audience, is daily content. You know.
Once a week was the norm on YouTube.
It was. At one point, it was. No.
But then they changed they've changed the algorithm so to where unless you've already built that audience that's used to once a week,
you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it without it.
They changed it. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to scroll through real quick just see if there's anything. There's a lot of conversations going on here, but we're getting close to time, and I am tired.
But if you're just starting a YouTube and you want to do it, once a week is fine. Just if it's all you can do, because some videos require more production Just
That is
way
true.
more.
That is true.
Some people way more production.
I hope to one day get to the point where like my videos are done in a room that is set up for actually making videos and not just in my office sitting in front of racks and racks of junk. I've had people comment, where are you at? Are you like in a storage closet? And technically, yeah, I am. I'm in a storage closet. My office is a storage area. And, I've
Yeah,
had people
because they're
say,
they're used to that production value, and they expect everybody to have it. It's like no one starts out like that.
yeah. One of my favorite channels that I've watched for years started out doing reviews of comics literally in his lap, sitting in his car. He would have his camera or
Yeah,
his phone pointing at his lap while he showed you a comic.
yeah, and he would
That
do
was
his
it.
live streams holding his phone with a bag of frozen peas on it to keep it from overheating.
Yeah, yeah. It's not about the production value, it's about the entertainment you get out of it. It's about what you get out of it. I wish one day to have like a studio type atmosphere and be able to screw with scammers and maybe even wear a suit and tie. I don't know. I'd never do that. I would never do that. But I like the idea of more production value. But right now, I put everything back into making sure I have daily videos done. That's more important to me than worrying about what all you see behind me. Yes, it's a bunch of junk, and yes, you see hangers hanging there, empty hangers. Well, it's because this is my office. I freaking there's clothes hanging from the back of the door. That's my clean clothes. That's what I wear, change my shirt every single day. I have it where I can see it, so I know to do it. Yes, I have to keep my clothes where I can see it, so I know to change clothes every day. It is 100% a true fact. I'm a guy, and that's just how stupid we are.
No, that's your tism.
Yeah, that is my tism. That is my choo 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 choo. That is my bird. All right, well, guys, I appreciate everybody who came in this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you all are safe. Next weekend is Easter Sunday. That's not going to affect the live stream at all. This live stream will still take place on Saturday as normal. Sundays usually don't affect me at all, so we're gonna go. I think we're going to my parents' house for dinner that night, and I'm looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody and seeing the family. So, but in the meantime, thank you guys, Avery. Once again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being a sounding board.
You're welcome.
You always bring a little twinge of perfection that I so desperately need.
Oh my God.
Oh, hey, Pez, how's it going? Pez is here. He says, take
Yay.
care and stay safe. Everyone, hope you're all having a great day and night. Respect from the Oz. Absolutely, Pez. I just saw him chime in at the end. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir. All right, everybody. Remember, if you ever get calls like the ones I get, either hang up on them or screw with them like I do. It's a lot of fun. I always have fun doing it. And if you do screw with them, try to record it so that you can share it with people. Do like Glenn and Betty and Dixon and all of his other crazy selves. Screw and share. All right, everybody. Have a great week and hope to see you all next weekend. And everybody be safe. Peace out, everybody.